Thank you to Thomas Moreira for these two suggestions. Hello everybody, this is JT Productions and I'm back with another preview and prediction video. Today I'll be doing the Boston College Golden Eagle. Last season in 2021, Boston College went 6-6, 2-6 in the ACC with 2 consecutive losses in the end of the season before their bowl game against East Carolina was canceled. Boston College, early in the season, lost their quarterback, Phil Jerkovic, and had to resort to a backup quarterback who had not played at all. They started the season 4-0 and having a overtime win against Missouri. Then they rattled off 4 straight losses, including a close one at Clemson, getting blown out against NC State, at Louisville, and then at Syracuse. Then they got 2 wins against Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech, and then lost their last 2 games of the season, a close one against Florida State, and then against Wake Forest. So let's see what they're working with. Well, before we do that, let's look at the notes I've gathered about them. Boston College, they get Phil Jerkovic back, and they have some pretty good offensive weapons like Zay Flowers, who's a senior, and Jaden Williams. And they also got a transfer wide receiver in Dino Tomlin, redshirt junior, coming over from Maryland. So that should help them out a little bit. And they also have a graduate transfer tight end, George Axe from Notre Dame. So he should be a commodity. At running back, nothing special. They got Alex Singford, who was a graduate transfer last year, from West Virginia. Pat Garwo as the redshirt junior, and shows that he's the projected starter. Offensive line, besides center and right tackle, all juniors and seniors, so that could be a good thing for them. Now, defensively, they have pretty much everybody that was on their roster last year. So they got a good little group of players for ACC standards, of course. Now, recruiting over the past 5 years, they're 55th in rank. And that's not that good in the grand scheme of things, but for the ACC, it's not that bad. The offense should be pretty good in Jeff Hafley's 3rd season as the head coach of the Golden Eagle. So I think that they could be very good, especially with Jerkovic back. I've heard the kind of, the kind of vibe around the team is that with Jerkovic back, they can maybe make some noise in the ACC, maybe even make the ACC title. But we'll have to see about that. Now that I'm done stumbling over my words, let's go look at the schedule. Week 1, you have a big non-con game against Rutgers. Rutgers is another team that's on the rise, kinda. With Greg Schiano as their head coach, they're always going to be a sneaky team. But I do think you get the win at home against the Scarlet Knights. I think Jerkovic, with him back, you have a proven commodity on offense. Then you're on the road to start your ACC schedule at Virginia Tech. I think you get the win there. If you've seen my Virginia Tech preview, you know that I'm not a big Virginia Tech fan. They have a new head coach. He's a defensive head coach. And really what needs to be worked on in Virginia Tech is their offense. And I think that Phil Jerkovic is going to be good enough to get the win in Blacksburg. Week 3, you play Maine. I think that's going to be another win. I think you start 3-0 going into the game at Florida State. Florida State, even though they've been down the last couple of years, one of the hardest places to play in the ACC. And I think you drop this one. I think Florida State, 4th season under Mike Norvell, I think he's going to get the wheels turning just a little bit more than they were the last couple of years. And I think you drop this one in Tallahassee. So you're 3-1, and then you got to face Louisville. Louisville's another team that's going to be pretty dangerous this year. And I think they catch you after a big loss in Tallahassee. I think you get your second straight loss. So you're 3-2. Then you have to host Clemson. Their offense is probably going to be as bad as it was last year. However, their front seven is probably one of the scariest in the country. And I think that they slow down Jerkovic and get the win. And now, surprisingly, after a 3-0 start, you're 3-3 going into your bye week. Coming out of your bye week, you face Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. And I think you come out of your bye week and bounce back. Wake Forest, they have a very good offense. Their defense is not what it needs to be. However, I think that you will be able to take advantage of that, and your defense might be able to step up against Wake Forest. So you're 4-3. Then you're at UConn for some reason. UConn's one of the worst Division I opponents. And it's one of the worst Power 5 teams at that. I think you go to UConn and get the win. So now you're 5-3. Then you play Duke, one of the worst Power 5 teams in the country. You get the win, 6-3. Then you go to NC State. NC State's, they lose both of their playmakers at running back. Devin Leary is a very good quarterback. However, I do not believe that. I don't think that he's going to be able to will them to a ACC title per se, but I think that they'll be good. So I think you get the win in Raleigh to go to 7-3 before having a big road test on the road in Notre Dame. Notre Dame, they got a new head coach. They got new pieces on the offense. I think they may start out rocky during the first half of the season, but by this point in the season, they'll have figured out. So I think you go to South Bend to get a loss. So you're 7-4, and you got to host Syracuse. Syracuse, like you, is going to be a sneaky team. You're a better team than them, in my opinion. So I think that you host in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, and get the win to finish the season 8-4. So, with all my rambling aside, Boston College going to have a big improvement from last year after finishing the season 6-6. Maybe even competing for the Atlantic and going to the ACC Championship in Charlotte. Clemson will have to lose a couple of games, but if Clemson loses 4 ACC games, which if you've seen my schedule of them, you'll know that they did not. So, in the shape of things that have gone on, Boston College is fighting for second or third in the ACC Atlantic. So not a bad season for Jeff Halfley in his third season. So thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. There are multiple playlists for each conference's teams, preview prediction, and there's a playlist of all the preview predictions, which this one will be added to, and more, as today I've decided I'm going to finish the ACC off. So, I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know who I should do in the comments, and I'll get right to that as soon as I finish the ACC. So, have a great day, and go Dogs.